Hey y'all, it's Val from Our Forever Farm. Today we're making cake donuts.
So I'm using white cake mix. I'm sure you can use yellow. And I am using this cake mix is 15.25 ounces, I believe is what it says. And this recipe that I was given by a friend says that the cake box is 13 and she says to add 1 cup. Well, my cake mix is 15, so I'm going to add half a cup, which is this right here. All the cake mix there is. Now we're going to take 2 cups of warm water, just like when you were making rolls or something, and you're going to add 1 tablespoon of yeast. If you want to see the temperature of this water, it needs to be around 110, a little over 100, and I'm just going to sprinkle this in. I keep my yeast in the freezer because I make a lot of bread and it keeps it fresh. So I like to stir my yeast in. It don't have to be done real good, but what you're wanting to do is proof it. I'm using active dry yeast, but you can use instant. You can use any kind you want. We're just gonna set this aside. So next we're going to add 4 cups of all-purpose flour, and I'm just going to fluff it up and get it in my measuring cup, and I like to sift it. So there's 1. We're just going to sift that. Squeaky sifter. And forward. Next we're going to add our yeast mixture to our cake mix and our flour, and I'm just going to kind of mix that up just a little bit. If you hear noise, we are having some construction done around here outside, and I've just heard the workers drive up. They'll be glad for these donuts, I bet. And we're going to pour our yeast mixture into the donut mix. And we're just going to mix this up, and we want a dough-like consistency. That's what we're looking for. Next, I'm just going to take some all-purpose flour and sprinkle it on my countertop, and we're going to put the dough on it and knead it just a little bit to form a ball. And then we're going to take our dough and put it right on the flour. I like to put just a little bit of dough, a little bit of flour for my hands, just right over here. And we're just gonna form this into a ball. You don't want to get too much flour on the board because you don't want to add flour to the recipe. I have heard that you can use flavored cake mix with this. I have never tried it. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of flour and sprinkle it in this bowl. If I had parchment paper, I'd fix parchment paper, and I'm going to put this in the bowl for about an hour to rise, covered. I like to keep mine in the oven or the microwave or something like that to keep it no drafts when you're letting something rise. So I've got it covered in this bowl. See if I can get closer. And then I'm going to clean up this mess, and then we're going to make another one in about an hour. Look how much these have rose. Oh my goodness. Unbelievable. In the meantime, I had some yeast rolls in the refrigerator, the dough, and I made up a pan of those. And made me a bacon biscuit. A friend called me the other day and asked me to make some for her daddy. He's not feeling well. And they are delicious rolls. And I've made them many times on this channel. And if you haven't saw it, I'll link it in the description box. But they're potato yeast rolls. They are so good. So what we're doing now is we're just going to dump this dough right out onto my island. Well, that came out really easy. I did put a little flour on here just for my hands. This is kind of a sticky dough, so you need a little flour, but you don't want to put too much. And you just want to knead this together. Make it good and smooth.
So just a heads up, I have never made this recipe before. A friend asked me to make it and tell her what I thought about it. And so that's what I'm doing.
So I'm just going to put that into a bowl like that. And I'm going to cut it in half. I think it'd be easier to use it if we just cut it in half. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to roll this out, which means I need a little more flour to put on my dough roller, just so it won't stick. I don't want to add much to the recipe. And, you know, nobody really told me how thick or thin to make these. I'm going to kind of guess at this. It's a pretty dough. I think that's done with cake mix. It's wild. So I think that, I'm just guessing at it, but we'll see how, we'll test one and see. So I have a donut hole cutter. You don't have to use something like this. I just had it from years ago. But you can use a cookie cutter. You can use a lid from a wide mouth jar. You can use a little cap to a bottle to make your donut hole. But this right here just does it for you. Look at the donut hole. And here's my donut. That's how thick I did it. We'll test it and see. If they're not good enough, we will roll out the other one thinner. I think this is going to be good though. I might just go ahead and roll them all out. And I'm just setting them on a cookie sheet. Don't know if you can see that or not. I'm just going to put my donut holes right there. And then when we get this full, we're gonna, whoops, did that one. I didn't do that completely round. Let's try that again. I messed up one. I didn't do it completely round, so I'll put it over on top of the other dough and I'll just knead it right into it. Didn't do that one completely round either. I don't guess it matters. See? And then we'll just take this dough and remix it. Take it into a little ball and then roll it out again. Try to get it about the same thickness. . Isn't this cute? They're so, I think they're gonna be pretty. So that made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And if I throw this one back in here, it should make 10. It's supposed to make 24, the whole recipe. I guess it's according to how thin you you roll it. Let's just keep doing this till we get, let's try to get 12. That's 2 more, I don't know. Do not know. I think we will though. Oh yeah, no problem. So let's find a smaller pan to put our donut holes on. Those will be good. I love donut holes. When I go to the bakery, if they don't have a blueberry cream-filled blueberry powdered sugar donut, then I get donut holes. And let's do the other half. Let me show you these before we get started on those. So these are gonna sit and rise. Whoops. And there's the donut holes. I'll keep this pan out for the other donut holes we're fixing to do. Don't they look pretty? So these have got to rise for 20 minutes and I'm gonna set them on the stove. I just got through cooking those rolls, so my kitchen is pretty warm. And then I'm gonna get started on this dough and finish this up. Try to get 12 out of this too.
I love to try new recipes. Now remember, this is a cake donut, not like a Krispy Kreme donut.
So we got 12 of these out of the second half. I'm gonna put them over here. Let's put them close to the stove. And then we got all these little donut holes. I think the grandbabies will love them. And then we're gonna let them rise for 20 minutes. I'm gonna clean up this mess and then we'll deep fry them. I'm excited. I've got everything else ready. We are, it's probably been rising about 10 minutes. I'm gonna turn it on 350. Let's see how you do it. I've only used this once. I got it at a yard sale last year. It was brand new in the package, so I was real tickled about that. So let's see, we want it on high and we want it on 350, so I'm gonna turn it down to 350. And then we want to start it. And it makes some noise, so I'm gonna have to talk a little bit louder if I talk during this. But what we're gonna do is we're just gonna, when it gets to the 350 mark, then what we're gonna do is deep fry our donuts, and I'll show you as we go along. And then I'm gonna let them drain, and then we're gonna ice them. Speaking of icing them, I guess we better get that icing made. Hear me over that deep fryer. It does make a sound, that's the only thing, but it's fine, it's fine. This is a 1/2 cup measurement. We're gonna use 2 cups of powdered sugar. We're gonna go ahead and put them in here. This is the glaze that we're putting on the donuts. I did a grocery order and it should be here anytime. And I went in and bought just some chocolate icing already made. I don't usually do that. I normally make my own, but I didn't want to today. And this is gonna be 1/2 cup. This is a 1/2 cup of whipping cream. And if we need more glaze, we'll use more glaze. Let's see if I can do this. I burnt my hand yesterday, and so it's a little bit sore. But it takes a lot to stop me. wasn't fun, I can tell you that. So we're gonna add half a cup of heavy whipping cream to this. And then we're gonna add some vanilla flavoring. This is my vanilla flavoring that I made a couple of years ago. I always tell you this is the end of it. I've got the stuff to make it, I just haven't done it yet. Maybe we'll do it on the next video. I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of vanilla, and the vanilla really makes this good. So let's see, let's get it. See if we can do it with a whisk, and we're just gonna whisk this right up. And what we're gonna do, we're just gonna pour this over the donuts. So if you think it's too thick, add a little bit more heavy whipping cream, which is what I'm gonna do, because I want to pour it over them. And as it sits here, it'll probably get thicker, but we're gonna try our best to get these donuts going. I'm waiting on the grease, and this doesn't tell you, like it doesn't have a light that tells you it's 350, or maybe it does. No, it doesn't have a light that tells you when it's 350. So I think I'm gonna test it with one of these donut holes and see how it deep fries. So here's our donut holes. Let's try one. I am just not quite sure that is ready, but we're gonna try one and just see what it does. Nope, it's not ready. But that'll fry up when it is, and then we'll know. Sometimes you can put just a little bit of flour in your grease to see if it's hot enough, and you can tell if it sizzles. But I can see this little donut hole is moving. Can y'all see that? And before long, it'll pop up to the top. When it does that, then we'll do the rest of our donuts. Oh, look, it went to the top. It's still not sizzling though, but it's cooking. I'm gonna tell you, it took this a long time to get up to heat, and it's just now browning this little donut hole. So this is something I've got to work on because I don't know this deep fryer. It's a Copper Chef, and I think it's supposed to be really, really good. So I think what I'm gonna do is go ahead and start out with all the donut holes and go ahead and get those started and get those done. So you see they drop to the bottom. Don't burn yourself like I did yesterday. I grabbed an iron skillet. It was awful. And then they come to the top and then they get brown. So as you drop these in, it's going to drop the temperature more. So we want to be aware of that. By the time we do the donuts, they should be about done. But be very careful anytime you're working with any grease at all. Ask me, I'll tell you. You don't want to splatter it, and you don't want to get it on you. Donut holes. So this one right here is the one we put in first. Let's go ahead and get it out and put it on a tray. You can see it's so pretty. And then these are already starting because the temperature is up. So these are already starting to brown. We'll just let them cook for a few minutes. This is the first one that was done, and I'm just going to shake some powdered sugar on that. I'm not doing a glaze, and I'm going to take a bite of this, see how it tastes. Those are cooking a lot faster than this one, so this is still really warm. These taste like cake donuts. Makes sense, cake donuts, cake mix. Really good. See how brown they're getting? So here you just kind of look and you can tell the ones that are done. That needs a little bit more on the other side.
These look done. Put them on a paper towel to drain.
So once the deep fryer came up to where it was supposed to be at 350, it cooked these really fast. I'm thinking it took like maybe 5 minutes, like just kind of rolling them around to get them brown on all the sides.
What I like to do with donut holes, homemade, and these are cake donuts, so remember that. These are not the light that you get, the light, fluffy, airy that you get at Krispy Kreme. These are the cake donuts. I like to sprinkle powdered sugar on the donut holes, but in the meantime, I'm gonna put a couple of donuts in here.
Again, be very, very, very careful. I'm gonna go ahead and do about probably 4. We're already coming to the top. We might do 5. Hey, we might do 6. There we go.
While those are cooking, you can just sprinkle this on, or you can sift them on. And that's what I'm gonna do, just sift them on. Notice I'm using my left hand. It's because I burnt my right one. Don't those look good? So here's our donuts, and I can see these are turning brown on the bottom. That one is. Look how pretty that is. Let's see if this one is.
Be very careful turning them. You don't want to splatter any grease. This little tool is working out really well.
Those are really pretty, aren't they? That took maybe 3 to 4 minutes. We'll see how long it takes on this side. Aren't they beautiful? I don't want them to get too brown. And what I'm doing is just putting them on the rack to put the glaze on them.
So it's really funny. I have made the copycat Krispy Kreme donuts before, and these look just like them, but they're not.
While those are cooking, I'm gonna put just some glaze on this. I feel like it needs to be thinner. You can actually take this donut, let me show you. You could pour this on, or you could take this donut and do it just like that. Isn't that pretty? Let's just do that. These are very hot donuts, so if it melts, then I'll pour a little bit on it. Cake donuts. Yeah, I think dipping them are probably better than pouring, because that is such a thick glaze. Unless you want to make it thinner. Isn't that pretty? Ooh, there's one on top of the other. We don't want that. Get out of there.
Y'all know me. I will be honest with you about the donuts, and I will tell you this is a little time consuming. It's fun, but it's a little time consuming.
So I've got a rack over this cookie sheet, and the cookie sheet's too small. And all I'm doing is I'm letting them drain on the rack. You don't want to get them too done. I've been eating donut holes and Coke. It's really, really good. So as much as I want to put the glaze on like right now, I think it's best to let them sit for about 3 to 5 minutes and let them get a little bit cool. A little bit bigger for some reason. I don't know if it's because they rose longer or what, but they are a little bit bigger. Probably from sitting there. So I'm going to do 6 again, 6 at a time.
Beautiful donuts call for a beautiful dish. This is another yard sale find.
While we're waiting on those other 6 donuts to cool before we glaze them some, I'm gonna taste on one of these first ones we got out, and it's still actually warm. They're really good. Like I say, they're not Krispy Kremes, but they're cake donuts. The grandkids are gonna love them, I'm telling you. Easy to make. So just think of all the many things you can do with these cake donuts. I did just glaze, but you could do chocolate. You can do strawberry. You can just sprinkle powdered sugar over your donut holes or your donuts, if that's the way you like them. They're cake donuts. You could even let them cool completely and fill them with something and not even do the donut holes. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities and it's a lot of fun. I've enjoyed today, but I'm ready to quit. Let's do these last 6 donuts.
So I was just told that these cake donuts are very popular on TikTok, YouTube, and Reels. I had no idea. Somebody just shared the recipe with me. And I want to thank them for sharing the recipe with me. They wanted to see my opinion. These are absolutely delicious if you eat them right away while they're warm and freshly glazed. My opinion is if you let them sit, they're not that good, y'all. They're cake donuts, first of all, which is not my favorite. They're beautiful. They're easy. Time-consuming. But will I make them again? Possibly. Possibly.
Here's our donuts. Aren't they beautiful? Look at that. So beautiful. I wonder if my carpenters would like some. Probably would. Here is our donut holes. Hopefully the kids will come by and they can eat all this up, because I've been snacking and I don't need any more. Looks like I need an apron too. So, hope y'all have enjoyed this. It's been a lot of fun. Y'all go cook something.